Hey guys, so today I thought I would finally get around to doing my Q&A that I've been talking about for so long. Basically, I feel now that I'm coming up to nearly 2,000 subscribers, so please share the channel, share the love, because only 200 subscribers more and I'll be at 2,000. And I feel that that's a decent enough amount of people to ask questions to, and I get asked questions all the time, but kind of in dribs and drabs. So a while ago I said, you know, I want to do a Q&A if anyone wants to ask any questions, but nobody asked questions at that point. So what I was doing was collecting kind of questions that people were asking me to compile, and I still felt like I didn't have like enough questions to get a video out. So I've recently been asking again, and a few of you have sent me in some questions. It's taken a while to compile all the questions. So what I've basically just done, I've saved names of some people, I haven't for others. Literally it's probably been about a year, because some of these questions are actually from before Albert was even born, and I've just kind of written them down and plan to answer them. This is from Rachel M. She sent quite a lot of questions. So the first thing is, what editing software program you use for editing videos. So I am probably going to do a video on this, but I used to use, and still do, I have a Mac that you guys know is kind of stored away at the moment because we haven't got kind of a space to put it, but usually kind of iMovie, and on that Mac I also have Final Cut Pro. And whenever I've tried to use Final Cut Pro, I do find it a little bit complicated. I remember when I first got on it, I got really stressed out and just kind of sacked it off in the end and went back to kind of just editing a basic video on iMovie. But iMovie is really good if you're just kind of doing a normal sit down video, but if you want to do much more fancier stuff, vlogs and stuff, day in the lives, and you want to edit, like, you can do so much more on Final Cut Pro. Sometimes I edit on my phone. I actually use a program called KindMaster, and I do pay for the premium one of that, and that is also really good as well. It's probably on par with iMovie actually. So yeah, that's kind of what I use. I fancy doing a couple of cloth nappy videos, as there aren't many around the UK. Are there any pros of cons of being a vlogger? So I'm only a small vlogger, so I can't say that there's many cons. I think one of the cons will always be kind of any negative comments, any criticism you get, and I think you've really just got to kind of just push it aside and forget about them, obviously unless they're like really dangerous comments or kind of threatening. But yeah, normally I get kind of criticised a lot, and I just like, yeah, whatever. But there's obviously loads more pros. I mean, I love it. You can do it from home. It's creative. You can sit down and talk to people about anything you want to talk about. I just really enjoy it. I love having a platform to talk about things that I love, and that's wonderful thing about YouTube is it's this platform that you can just put out whatever content you want to put out. Weaning tips, what did you do first time, and what are you going to do with Albert? Just goes to show how long ago this was. So I have actually done a weaning video, but we've always done baby-led weaning. I don't know if I have any tips. Both children are very different. Albert's got a lot of problems at the moment with tolerating things in his mouth. He gags a lot, so we're doing a kind of bit of mixed. So it's very, yeah, it's different. Sometimes they say that baby-led weaning leads to a less fussy child with their food, but we did that with Sebastian, and he's really fussy with his food. So I think it just depends on the child. But if you want to see another video on weaning, let me know. Charlie's commented and said, do you prefer carrying or a pushchair now? So with Sebastian I loved carrying him, and with Albert I love carrying him, but Albert being so much heavier, and the fact that my second pregnancy seemed to really affect my back, I much prefer carrying him on my back than on my front. However, summer was fine, I carried him a lot, but the winter's coming, or the colder weather's coming in now, and I do find it a little bit harder to carry him on my back if I'm wearing a particularly thick jumper or a coat. I do still wear him a lot. I can't say that I've got a preference. I think baby wearing is always a nicer thing. It's a much more bonding thing, isn't it? But sometimes definitely my physical ability to carry has not been as good this time as it was first time. Charlie's also asked, we don't use cloth nappies anymore as he refuses to wear them, but won't use a potty much yet either. Have you done a potty training video? Yes, I have, and I'll leave that link down below too. But I will say, we never potty trained Sebastian. He kind of just potty trained himself. He basically just one day said, I don't want to wear a nappy anymore, took his nappy off, and that was the end of it. Like, he just didn't want to wear a nappy anymore. So we did try and potty train him, and it was quite stressful. We did the whole reward chart thing, and I wasn't prepared to stay in for 2 days on end with no nappy on until he got it. That's not my style of doing things. I'm not, you know, we need to be out, and I just wasn't prepared to do that. And somebody actually said to me, you know, we never bothered doing that, and eventually they chose to do it themselves. And that's exactly what Sebastian did around about just before he turned 3. Okay, this person's actually asked a question that's quite important, and I've actually messaged her back to talk to her about it. But her husband's just been diagnosed with essential thrombocythemia. I found your videos when researching. I'm really worried about it and don't know what to do. Have you got any tips in which we can deal with this? We're really struggling. So, firstly, to anyone who's been diagnosed with this, or with any cancer, you know, my heart goes out to you. It's a horrendous thing to go through. It's incredibly scary, and it's a lot to absorb. And I have to say that we're like 2 years now past diagnosis, and we still are coming to terms with it. Like, I still have days when I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe this, you know. First thing I'll say is make sure you've got the right care. So if you're in the UK, I would highly recommend being referred to Professor Harrison, who's based at Guy's in London. And you don't have to see her all the time, maybe just once a year, twice a year. But she is a world specialist in MPN disorders, and like, people would pay a lot of money to go and see her, and we are very lucky that we can actually see her on the NHS. So definitely get referred to see her, make sure you're getting the right level of care, and just lots of support. This condition there's not much is known about this condition, but make sure you don't overread stuff. As long as your partner, husband in this case, is kind of stable and managed well on meds, just take each day as it comes. There's lots of different support groups on Facebook that you can join and get lots of kind of advice and information as well. I have done a video on Chris's condition, but if anyone wants to know more, let me know and I can do another video on it. I don't know, whatever you want to know about it. This is SJ. What surprised you most about being a mum? Oh God, everything. I think what really surprised me most is the fact that you think when you decide that you're going to become a mum that it's going to be like natural. And like, before I was a mum, I'd see mums in coffee shops and think it was like really easy and lovely. Being a stay-at-home mum was like the nicest thing ever, and how lucky were they? But actually it's totally not that. It was the fact that it was so hard. Like, how can something so small be so difficult? Yeah, how hard it was what really surprised me. But also how much love I have, like how much your life changes and how much of a different person you become, a better person. I feel like I'm a much better person. If you had a day, I like this question, if you had a day off, what would your perfect day be without the kids? I had a day off. This has happened recently. Chris went and took the children away for a weekend, and oh, it's really hard. I kind of battled between, do I invite people over and have a drink and then get drunk and then have a lie-in, or do I have an early night or a whole evening to myself and just like have a long bath? It was really difficult. So I think it would start off with having a nice lie-in. I'd have a really nice lie-in, then I'd go out for breakfast, read my book, kind of do a bit of people watching. Then I'd probably go shopping and really take my time and buy things and take my time trying things on and, you know, really kind of enjoy the day. Then I'd have a really nice lunch, and then I'd probably slow kind of journey home, listening to some music on the way home, and then I'd come home, get a takeaway, and I would just sit in front of the telly, watch loads of films, have a film marathon, have a really late night, wake up the next day and have another lie-in, and then the kids can come back. That would be it. Some off my notes now. Do you plan on having a third child? So if you'd asked me this a week ago, I would have said yes, and I still think I do, but I am finding parenting too really hard at this particular time. Chris seems to think, you know, I said to him last week, I was like, no more, that's it. And Chris said, well, it might be really different once we move, there's more space and he's not working as much. Maybe I might, once we've moved, it might change, but at the moment I'm sort of really kind of like, oh, I'm not sure. But I don't want to go down the line and regret it, so I don't know at the moment is the answer. I'm really not sure. What is different to life now than it was when you were in the army? Oh, okay, so Not really a lot. I've had a couple of people ask this question. There's not really been much difference, and the reason is because we've not moved anywhere. Like, we've not moved back to our home cities. We have stayed exactly where we were based and just moved like a mile up the road. So some of the people are the same, and we still have access to the same kind of services and stuff, same groups. Not really a lot's changed. The only thing that has changed is the house, which is, I miss my old quarter. Even though it wasn't like fantastic, I do miss it. Not really a lot has changed, and actually in a weird way it's kind of harder because Chris is away a lot more. He's working so much more now, whereas before he would be away for like big deployments and big exercises but be back for a set of time. So it wasn't, you know, he'd be back more, whereas now he's kind of constantly, like, we're constantly not seeing each other. And on top of that, obviously when you're in the military, you get a lot of support around that. Whereas because we're not in the military, I don't get any support around the fact that he's away now. As veterans, you don't get as nowhere near, you know, you don't get nowhere near as much support. So I am kind of making more friends that are civilians now as opposed to friends that were living on camp. A lot of them have moved away. So, so I'm starting to kind of settle in a bit more. But life is still very similar. I'm planning a home birth this time round. I'm wondering if you would recommend it. I know you never had Albert at home in the end, but did most of it at home. Would you do it again? Yes, I would. I absolutely would. And I think the reason why I progressed very quickly with Albert, I only had a 6-hour labour, is because I was at home. And I truly believe that that's why when I got to the hospital within an hour, I was pushing. I think if I'd gone to hospital at the beginning, I think I would have been in labour a lot longer. I truly like believe that in my heart. I know my body, I know that's what was happening. I felt very relaxed at home, and really didn't want to go to hospital, but I had to. He had pooed, so yeah, I absolutely, like, if I am going to have a third, I would definitely stay at home. I wouldn't want to go to hospital unless there was an absolute essential need to go. I do personally feel that hospitals for me make my labours shut down. I felt that with Sebastian. I don't particularly want to be in hospital. I want to be in my own environment. I want to make my own cup of tea. I want to be comfortable. I don't find hospitals a comfortable place to be. I don't know if that's just because I've spent so many years in and out of hospital. I just hate the places. Don't want to be near them. So I would definitely want to stay at home next time if I can. Final question is, would you like a girl? And this kind of annoys me, this question, a little bit, just because I think people automatically assume if you've got 2 boys then you must want a girl. And I actually feel like if I found out I was having a girl, I would go back into that sort of first time parent mode, like fear mode, because I have no idea what it's like to raise a girl. Worry that I'm not that I wouldn't bond because they're a girl, but I don't know, I feel like it's really new territory, so I'm kind of feel a bit anxious about it, a bit nervous about the thought of having a girl, which sounds really daft. So, but on the other hand, I know Chris really wants a girl, and I guess it would be really nice to have a daughter. That girls, I'd like to have a daughter that I'm really close to and who would come to me when she's older. But if I had a boy, I'd be equally as happy. At least I know what I'm doing with 3 boys, and I'd be the only princess in the house, so I'm happy with that. So that's it for my questions. There really isn't very many, as I said, but next time I do a Q&A, please fire me any questions that you want, and please ask me any questions up until that point. I'll always keep a jot of them and write them down, and I will make sure I get them answered. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram, because I do a lot of my stuff on there as well, to see pictures of the boys and things. I'll leave a link down below, and make sure you subscribe for more videos and click that little bell in the corner so you get notified every time I upload, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.